Everything's so blurry and everyone's so fake. What a valid point, Puddle of Mudd. Thank you.
I love how like Taylor can be like, everyone's so fake and everyone's like, oh, what a bitch. But Puddle of Mudd does it and
Hey!
like, hey, they're cool.
Puddle of Mudd they weren't cool, but I liked them.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of 2K Mats. It's Matt Steele.
Matt Palmer.
And guys, we need to talk about Kevin Spacey.
Who thought of that title?
He did. I can't take credit for it. It's very clever. But this is a serious conversation.
Yes, that's the happiest we're gonna be for the next like 5 minutes, however long this video is.
Yeah. So, in case you guys have been living under a rock, a lot of things have been happening this weekend. Kevin Spacey. That scandal has been very prevalent amongst the many things, including the World Series and Kathy Griffin and Robert Mueller and a bunch of stuff.
There's an actor by the name of Anthony Rapp. He, correct me if I'm wrong, originated the role of Mark in Rent.
Rent, yes.
A 26-year-old Kevin Spacey invited Anthony Rapp to his apartment for a party.
And Anthony Rapp was 14 years old.
Yes, 14. Remember that number. Eventually, everyone had left from the party, and it was just Anthony Rapp as a 14-year-old and Kevin Spacey as an adult. And somehow, Kevin Spacey drunkenly wound up on top of Anthony. And then Kevin picked him up. He said it was like a husband carrying a wife over the threshold.
I forgot about that line.
Never forget. And Anthony Rapp had to squirm away. It was a child.
Literal child.
An actual child. Yeah. No buts about it. It's not even like he was 17, which would still be like gross.
Bad.
Gross. But this is 14.
And you know, there's been speculation about Kevin Spacey's sexuality for many years within the gay community. We all knew. There were stories galore.
I knew Kevin Spacey liked a young man. I assumed they were legal age. I now know it's not. And then Kevin Spacey, after all these years of not saying anything about his sexuality, he doesn't say anything. He's like, my private life is my private life. This is just hearsay. As soon as he gets in hot water about this Anthony Rapp thing,
it was literally a couple hours later.
Yes! And what he decided to say was like, if this happened, I'm horrified by it, and there was a drunken mistake of a 26-year-old. And it's like, not a denial, which is disgusting. And two, it ended with, oh, and also I've been with men and women and I've chosen to live my life as a gay man. It's like, okay, you don't get to choose to come out the moment that something horrible and predatory and looks horrible to you being in part of the community. It's like, oh, now also I'm gay too, so. You're just trying to shift focus. He defends his pedophile behavior, alleged pedophile behavior.
Well, technically it's hebephile. Hebephile?
Is that when they're a teenager?
Hebephile is when they're like pubescent. Pedophile is when they're prepubescent.
I don't know. And the thing is, we've discussed this off air, and I do believe that that is a sickness that people are born with and they have, and it's horrible, and they just have to fight it for their entire lives because there's no way a child can consent. But if you've actively done this and you have put this child in danger and this like person who cannot consent and wasn't even consenting in any realm of the world, you've acted upon that, you've preyed upon this person, just horrific. I mean, sure, you can be gay, but that has nothing to do with this, and like, to say it in the same breath as what you did is like, sullying the entire movement. And there are people in the world today who think that being gay means being a pedophile, and what you've done has nothing to do with what we are, and I guess what you are too, but it's like completely a different world.
I just think it's so fascinating. You think like, oh, I guess I can understand if he was like talking to his publicist like, hey, would this be also a time to like be like, and yes, America, you are correct, I am homosexual. And the fact that no one said, no, Kevin, don't add that, that's a bad idea, is just so confusing. And the fact that I think you pointed out before was the fact that he's like, oh, this was horrible, but honestly, I don't remember it if it happened, just shows that even if it didn't happen, if Anthony Rapp is lying, which I doubt, that means that you know that stuff like that has happened before.
Yes.
That you've done stuff like that before. So the fact that you can't remember it means that it all kind of blurs together for you.
That's the thing. And that's the thing, is you very plainly didn't say that. You very plainly did not deny this in the slightest.
You insinuated that it is possible that I may have done this.
And if it's in the realm of possibility, then we have a problem. What goes on with men that become powerful in this kind of industry and they feel like they're gatekeepers and they feel like because it's like, what are these little people gonna do? People are like, oh, well, it's the entertainment industry, there are no rules. It's like, no, this is fucked up.
This is life rules.
There are life rules, there are legal rules, and like, I feel like we've both had separate instances of discussing this kind of thing with straight guys, and a lot of them are like, Not all of them, not all men, whatever. But a lot of them are like, I feel bad for this guy because like who hasn't like made a pass at someone who's younger? It's like, okay. This isn't putting your body on top of someone's body to the point where they have to squirm out from underneath you is not making
That's
a pass.
beyond making a pass. Making a pass is literally like poking on Facebook. Like, that's as much of a pass as I feel like I've ever
Kevin
made.
Spacey forced himself on a child.
In general, if your idea of making a pass is physically touching someone, you're wrong.
Yeah.
That's wrong. Make a pass by talking to them like a normal human being. And
or even if like you think the moment's right and like you try to go in for a kiss and they're like, oh no, you've misunderstood. It's like, okay, let me back away and stop because this is not, we're not both on the same page here.
Yeah, it's so funny because when I went to work the next day and was talking to all my straight male coworkers, they had no idea what I was talking about. They were just like, what happened with Kevin Spacey? And I was like, you don't know what happened with Kevin Spacey? And then I would tell them the story and the first words out of their mouths were, wait, Kevin Spacey's gay?
And see,
it's like,
that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to shift the narrative. But luckily, there have been more people who come out, even production assistants on House of Cards were like, yeah, I'd have to go pick him up from his house and he put his hand in my pants. And it's just like, A, that's horrible, but B, it's like, of course this is not something that happened one time. Of course this is something that's because that was 30 years ago. If he's been getting away with this story for 30 years, there are countless other stories in between.
It's just so amazing that like now there is so much more of a platform for people to come out and tell their stories.
There's so much stigma around a man being sexually assaulted that makes them feel weak or not like a man or something, that they're like feel the need to go into hiding. And that's why these stories of like Kevin Spacey or word on the street, Bryan Singer allegedly, like that's why these things have been locked so tightly for so long. And of course Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, that was years too, but it's just like we need to let the world know that people can be sexually assaulted no matter what gender they identify with, no matter what sex they are. It's just like, this is a problem that people, mostly men, sorry, it's just literally factually true. They get power, it goes to their head, and then they feel like they own the world, and they feel like they can touch anything or do anything they want to do because they're successful and they're guys, and like that's what the world is there for.
Or like make comments. Like even like comments are kind of just like, you don't know these people. The woman who said that Dustin Hoffman sexually harassed her when she was 17 years old, she has like detailed accounts of like diary entries of like things he would say to her. And so many of the things I feel like guys just write off as, oh, this is just a joke, it's just a joke, it's just a joke. But it's kind of just like, I don't make overt jokes like that to people who I casually know. I make them to him. I don't want to ever put anyone in a position where I make them feel uncomfortable.
But it's the same thing. It's like even beyond. It's like Jeremy Piven likes grabbing girls' boobs and fucking.
That's insane.
It's insane.
How could you
imagine? But again, I mean, some gays do that. Some gays will be like, "Oh my god, it's okay. I'm gay. I can do it."
Oh yeah.
And it's like, no, you can't. If someone has not given you the sign that you can touch them, don't touch anyone. Keep your hands to your fucking self. Like Selena Gomez can't do in her song, you can do in real life. Keep your hands to your fucking self. Because it's not...
That was clever.
Thank you, and it's true, and it's a great song. But it's unrelated. If it's not clear to you that that's what they want and that's what you want, keep your hands to yourself. And I feel like there's so many guys who are like, oh, well what if it's just like a witch hunt and they're just like trying to take guys down and like girls just want to be famous and like...
It's just like, sure, I'm sure people have lied about stuff like that before, but like, you need to listen to all the stories carefully.
And like, if it turns out that they're lying, that is a much less of a possibility than them telling the truth. Truly. It's just like, statistically, like people don't really lie about this kind of thing.
Even if they could be lying, like, wouldn't you want to find out all the facts from them before you determine if it's a lie?
Before you're like, oh, I bet they're lying.
So you should listen regardless.
The fact that these people are being blown up and getting exiled from their industry is like good.
Yeah, it's
everyone looks at this and sees this is what happens when you abuse your power and try to sexually intimidate, harass, or assault someone. Be nice, be professional, realize that you're in a workplace. Like, no matter if it's just you're in Hollywood, you're on set, you're backstage, it feels like you're having fun, you're at work. Like, this is a job. So if you feel like this falls outside of a sexual harassment guideline that you would see at a normal job, then don't fucking do it.
Don't do it. The adults should all know that, but apparently they don't.
I think Billy Eichner said that he has found the one wrong time to come out.
I know.
There was never a wrong time to come out until now, and like once you're accused of touching a child, a 14-year-old boy, that's the wrong time to come out. Because you're really just giving ammunition to the people that are on the wrong side of history and think gay people are disgusting and are all coming for their kids. And it's like, we don't give a fuck about your kids. But like, he does, and that's his own issue, and that has nothing to do with being gay. Okay? Like, nothing. I hope they find peace within themselves and get better, but like, even if they do, I never want to see them again.
I mean, it's gonna be, I don't see Kevin Spacey working.
You say that, but Mel Gibson's all over fucking LA. Every other billboard I see is for, what is it, Daddy's Home
Daddy.
2? Put them out to pasture. These are my thoughts. Thank you for watching.
Well, you've heard it here.
They have enough money. They can live quiet lives in the country. Follow me on Twitter. Matt Parr Music.
And it's Matt Steele.
Follow us both at 2Gay Mats. Write in the comments below what your thoughts on this issue is. Like, I'd love to hear from all of you how you felt when you read this, when you read about Weinstein, when you read about Dustin Hoffman, when you read about Brett Ratner. Did we know they were horrible? What's up with open secrets? Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye, guys. Be nice to each other.